How many people here have not heard of the PPC Archive? I guess that's good news. I don't see any hands at all. All right. So the latest version on your flash drive is version 2.47. The versions are released twice a year, once on the 1st of November and once on the 1st of April. So this is the one from April of 2025. And you'll find there's a version history, and here's 2.47 down here, and we were up to roughly 88,800 pages of material. And if you get it separately, it fits on a 64 gig flash drive. I think it's 40 some gigabytes in size. Okay, so page counts, here we go. You can see we kind of jumped in spurts. There are 6 sections to the archive, and there are individual version numbers to those 6 sections, as you would expect. Okay, so there's a main selection page when you start, and this was the prior one, and this is the one to which it has recently evolved. So sections 1 through 4 are the top 4 here. 5 and 6, HpCalc and miscellaneous individual and periodicals. Miscellaneous individual materials and periodicals. So the drive is up to 46 gig at this point. Okay, so we're just going to gloss over the 6 sections real quick. So here's section 1. There have not been any updates in the most recent version, but the version before that, which is new for you guys, listed here. 7 PPC-related documents, 8 new meeting handouts from the PAHHC group, our Philly chapter, and an update as well. The CHIP handout got some additions. So did Atlanta chapter newsletters. Those are available through here. Okay. Also, PPC member handbook number 2, which is available if you click on that box right there. There were member list pages, and they were rescanned because the quality was not to my liking. Here are just some samples. Okay, so for the PAHHC group meetings, we had an update in the earliest tab there, 1980 to 84, and that was a new meeting handout, and then there were some updates scattered throughout as well. Section 2, which is Computer Journal, Chew Chronicle, HPS Exchange, HP Keynotes, HP Digest, and relevant HP Journal articles. There were some updates in various areas. 7 Computer Journal documents were updated. There were some Chew and HPX. There were a couple of lists that were created here. One was PPC ROM number to and from PPC member number. This was an interesting search. It started when Gene Wright asked the group at one point, does anybody know who got, which PPC member got ROM number such and such? I forget what the 4-digit number was, because we couldn't find it on the list anywhere. So I started doing research, and there are PPC member lists from member handbook number 1, which is back in the other section. It goes up to member number 3636, and then there's member handbook 2, which took it up to like 4,800. But this was a number higher than that, and I believe, and we couldn't find it. So I started searching all the different areas and created kind of a spreadsheet of PPC ROM number versus ROM order number, which would go 1 to 5,000, versus PPC member number, and name from that. And most of them are available. I think there's still 20% missing. And unfortunately, I never found the one that Gene was looking for.
The reason that was so important is it helped verify before I clicked buy it now that the PPC ROM on eBay had belonged to Bill Wicks.
Right. Also, there was a true member list as well. With that, Richard actually offered to me his, I guess, his single 8.5 by 11 sheets where each person, as they joined the club, they filled out a form. And he had all of the forms, and he just shipped them to me. There was 1,837 of those. So when they, it's a stack about yay thick. When they came in, I created a spreadsheet and typed in the name, the city, the member number, and whatnot, just some pertinent information, and created a list out of that. In both cases, you got multiple sorts. In the ROM order list, you can sort by ROM number or by order number. I think there may be others as well. In the true member list, it's more complex, and you can sort by state, name, and this, that, and the other thing. So this is an example. Here's the PPC ROM number versus member number list, and the names were taken out of the member handbooks and various other places. And you'll see some blanks because we never found who belongs to those. And then in the other one, this was done into a spreadsheet. So we've got a true member number, name, city, state, country, and PPC number if they had one and offered it. So the archive allows you to sort by true number, PPC number, name, city, whatnot. These are some other updates that were in that section as well. Section 3 is the British Club HPCC's data file issues. And at that time, volume 37, number 4 was the newest. So that was added to the archive. And there is a data file index in there, and we added that issue to the index. So again, you've got 5 different ways you can sort the index information by title, author, type of document, model number that's pertinent, and what issue and page number is found. And there's what essentially what I call the jump table. So you see this and you can click on a box and it will take you directly to that issue. And there's 37.4. Okay, so section 4 has 2 groups of things. It's got conference information, and it's also got Australian publications. And there were conference proceedings added for 2024, and some of the Alstrel meetings and HPCC meetings as well. The conference index was updated, and there was some scattered additional material from the 1998 and 2000 conference proceedings, so they've been added as well. So here are some of the updates here shown here. And again, the conference index was updated, and you can see there's 5 different ways you can sort the data. 1,600 entries there. Section 5, which is HHC, which is divided into 4 groups. This is the catalog part, and I don't think there were any changes there at all. We go from catalog 5 to 75. The only ones that I am missing are issues 9 and 13. So if anybody's got HHC catalogs number 9 and or 13, I'd like to meet with you and talk about getting scans of those. Richard provided me these early issues, and on number 5 there was a note attached, and I believe it was from George McCarty that said something like, we started with issue number, here's our first catalog, we started with issue number 5. And he didn't explain why, but there's no 1 through 4, so this
is a good friend of Bob's.
Never mind.
That's a private joke.
Yeah. So these are the samples of the 4 sections of HHC, but there were virtually no updates except for catalog 75S, which had leftover 4171 and HPIL products in there, and technical note number 60 had an update. It's in here. It's in here somewhere, and there was 1 document from 1990 that was added. This has 2 tabs. I divided the time frame into 2 groups.
Is there anything in there that gives a clue as to why EduCup went out of business? Is there some letter or something?
Well, somewhere in here I have the article from Joe Horn that's called HPCalc Closes Its Doors.
Yes.
And I think there was also an article in the Palm Top paper about HPCalc closing its doors. And there were some explanations, some scant explanations about that.
Yeah, it's called extortion.
So the last section, number 6, which is HP materials, there were a bunch of updates in version 9 and 10 for those last 2 issues. In this case, 317 individual documents were added, and there's tabs at the top of the page. They used to have 18 tabs. I had to expand it to 21 in order for there to be room. Years 76 and 77 each got divided into section A and B because we ran out of space. And there's one additional one as well.
Now, do you have the calculator stuff from the HP catalogs in there?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From almost every page, there is a quick reference, a bookmark. If you click on that, you get a big table of things you can jump to. And I think the HP catalogs are one of the things that let you jump to it. But those catalogs are in this section 6. I wonder if I have samples. Well, if you look at this, these are small versions of these jump tables, but along the vertical column here is a set of links that'll take you to various periodicals from HP, and one of the early ones has got the catalogs in it. Also, I believe one additional Electech catalog was added, and there it is there. And Felix provided a boatload of newsletters from Germany from the issues from Display, Prisma, Cursor, and
That's Swiss. That's
this one, Micro Plus Client Computer, is a Swiss publication, and a bunch of those were added as well. Okay, so here's that section, and if you go to, you were looking for the annual HP catalogs?
Yeah, the hardbound ones.
Yeah, they're not on either of these 2 pages. It's probably in the in-between page here. Everything from 1968 to 1999. The first issue that said Agilent was 2000, and the last 3 years of the HP catalogs had no calculator references in it at all, and I indicated that in those pages. So updates were done in many places here. One of them is the addition of a thing called miscellaneous catalogs. These are ones that were sitting on my shelf for decades, from Markline, Computique, JSNA, and I found about a dozen of those, so I kind of put them together in an annual list. Here's some samples. Also Keyboard Magazine, which is an HP pub supporting the desktop computers. They're in there. Measurement Computation News and the HP 48 catalog. I was talking to someone earlier about Measurement Computation News. There's a lot of those. Roughly every 2 months, HP published was about approximately 8-page long advertisement booklet that was mailed as a separate item to individuals, and it was also included in various publications such as Electronic Design magazine. And I collected as many as I could. And back in the early days, before the 9100A was introduced in 1968, this thing was called HP Measurement News. And after that, they changed it to HP Measurement Computation News. And so this starts in that's a 71. I guess we started in 71 when it started covering the desktops. And it goes up to 1987 here. And the gray boxes show it was going roughly every other month, and there's a slew of years, about 4 years, where I'm missing issues. So I need to find them at some point. But you'll see these slides on your flash drive, and you can look at this in more detail, as well as go to the archive itself. Okay, so Yeah, this was one that was added. It was Keyboard Magazine, so I decided just for fun, since every cover was different, I included a sort of a mini image of each cover from each year from 69 to 81. And it's interesting, if you go to the very last issue, there's an article in there. It's almost apologetic. It says something like, it says here we're being discontinued or something like that, like we've got to stop. And the editor was saying that he had been working on the pub for about 14 years, and it's, you know, and he was saying goodbye to people and whatnot. So the last issue of 1981 was the final issue of Keyboard. This was really like keynotes for the desktop machines. It had sample programs and listings and applications. It was really useful. And there's more section 6. These are pictures of the European/foreign individual publications. And you can see all the green ones in there are additions to those pubs in that time frame. And for the foreign periodicals, Cursor, M+K, Display, and Prisma were added. And Prisma had many, many, many issues, and each one is enormous. I think they average between 40 and 50 pages in length, and they're in German. And I started to endeavor to go through Google Translate and translate each page to English. And I could not get Google Translate to work really well unless I submitted images of each page to Google Translate. So I ended up having to take each issue, which was only available to me in PDF, and blow it up as big as I could on my computer screen capture that, convert it to a JPEG, and then submit it to Translate. And then Translate did its best, and if there was tabular data or math symbology, it usually screwed it up and mushed it all around, and then I'd have to manually fix it all up to kind of put it back together again. So what ended up happening is I collected all the Prismas, and those are the greens and the oranges, and they're all in there. But the green ones represent the ones that have been successfully translated up to that point. And you'll see that, I don't know if I have the sample here, but for the next version that's coming out in November, I think I got 3 more years of issues translated so far. So the goal is to get all these oranges to turn green eventually, and the columns will all be complete. But here's some samples of those issues. This is a Dutch club prompt and their publication. There's Micro plus Client Computers, Swiss, Display, Prisma, and Cursor were German. So summing it up, version 2.47, 88,000 pages. This is, you know, a high-level list of the collections of what's in there. And a sneak peek of the next version, 2.48. Oops. One thing to mention, in the foreign section, there were 9 tabs. We've expanded it to 10 to add one more page of domestic publications. And also a bunch of things were provided by Mark Power from the British group, Personal Computer World, Practical Computing, and Your Computer, which is some published in the UK and some in Australia. So there's a smattering of new issues of those as well. And there's some updates to the European keynotes in section 2, where someone had color versions of those and I only had photocopies, so I got to scan the color ones. And in the miscellaneous HP materials, well, that's this. Also, there were some more conference editions and whatnot. And that's the story on version 2.47.